All right, here we are in another game, and it'd be really nice to be on the play, but we're on the draw. So far, 1 in 4 for being on the play. But the hand's pretty sweet. It gives us the opportunity to go turn 1 bird, turn 2 Geist, which is quite nice. Ooh, Polluted Delta. I feel like we haven't seen that tonight. Did our opponent keep a 1-lander? Seems so. It's a little crazy to play Sleight of Hand. You got to be playing like a situation where you need a lot of cantrips. Okay, so I think we're up against Ad Nauseam. Between Temple of Malady, Sleight of Hand, and a 1-land hand. That's what I think. I'm going to be fairly happy that I have a quick clock in the form of Geist of St. Traft. Spell Queller might actually be quite nice in this matchup as well. My opponent's never going to kill it. If we are against what I think we're up against, which is Ad Nauseam. So I'm missing out on a point of damage here by not playing the Noble Hierarch, but I want to keep mana open for Spell Queller. I think that is fairly important. And now this seems pretty bad for my opponent. Ooh, I missed out on another point of damage. I actually could have played the Noble Hierarch there. And I feel like we got the game locked up at this point. Our opponent's going to have to use something to prevent the damage, and we're going to have a Spell Queller for that. He's going to need 2 things. There's a good chance he just won't have 2 things. Especially considering he only has 1 white mana. Oh, it's split second. That is true. So we'll see if he has another Angel's Grace. To note, we can actually counter Ad Nauseam. It's a 5 mana spell with the Spell Queller. This would be a situation where Thalia would be quite good. Probably should have attacked him down to 1. So I think I can go after this. My opponent doesn't have a land. I'm just gonna let this resolve. Alright, looks like you just didn't have anything. So easy swap, negate for Path to Exile. Stony Silence has some utility against this deck, but not a lot. There's the Pentad Prisms, there's the Lotus Blooms. I think that's it. So Stony Silence is probably better than Dromoka's Command. Reflector Mage is awful. You can bring Stony Silence and Kitchen Finks. And then we're ready to rock. Stony Silence, to be sure, is not actually like very good in this matchup, and it might even be that it's like so mediocre that it's like a Reflector Mage would be better. But I think that the Stony Silence is better than a Reflector Mage. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Reflector Mage is just such a slow clock. And my deck is pretty threat dense. So I want to have like a, you know, minimum number of things that interacts, basically. And we've got a Lotus Bloom on suspend, so Stony Silence will do something. So I believe it'll come off suspend on my opponent's turn 4. So that means on my turn 3 I'll be able to play Stony Silence before this comes off suspend. Be really nice to have a little bit of white mana, blue mana to get this Geist of St. Traft online. It'd also be nice to go turn 2 Wall of Roots, turn 3 Gideon Ally, Zendikar, but I think it's more important that I play the Stony Silence. Another thing that I could have opted to do was just play the Stony Silence on this turn, because that way I give myself the opportunity to get lucky, and I could potentially just draw the right lands. And I should have kept in the Dromoka's Command for Fire Extinct on Life. Well, but yeah, I could just like draw the lands that I need in order to get go like turn 2 Stony Silence, turn 3 Geist of St. Traft, turn 4 Gideon Ally Zendikar. That would be pretty good. My opponent's probably saying, what? Wall of Roots? What in the world? Ooh, and I don't even have to take damage. I can tap these for black now. That Urborg. So now on this turn, I'll finally be able to play Gideon and actually start clocking my opponent, which is a little overdue. Opponent playing both Seiju, seeing the blue in my deck, and obviously assuming that there's potential for some counter spells, which of course he's right about. And Gideon's like a pretty fast clock, which is nice. Alright, he's doing it. Am I dead? Really haven't put up much of a fight or much of a clock. So my opponent's going for it. My opponent can just draw as much as he wants, and he will not die because he's just gonna go he just doesn't die. Because this is like, you only get infect when damage is dealt, and ad nauseam is loss of life. So therefore, he gets to draw his whole deck and doesn't die. And there we go. There's the kill. Yeah, and he can just discard cards from his hand to discard lands from his hand. Put up the counters. So alright, next game. So let's get the Dromoka's command in here over the Elspeth. And then we're good to go. Wonder how crazy it would be to have Fracturing Gust. It's probably better than Wingmate Roc. Just to get every last little bit of interaction that I can get. My opponent's not going to be interacting with me, so pretty slim pickings in terms of my interaction. But I still kind of think I can just have, like, when I'm on the play, like 1 or 2 interactive things and a good curve and beat him down. Last game things were a little awkward. I mean, I basically went turn 3 Stony Silence, turn 4 Gideon. It's like not very good. I had the 2 Wall of Roots as acceleration, but I couldn't actually use them effectively, so I was on a pretty fair hand. I wonder what's going on with my opponent. There we go. And this hand's fine. It's not that great, but there's a few cards in this hand in particular that are good. And I've got a little bit of fast mana that doubles as a small amount of pressure. Not quite ideal. Ooh, a threat would have been really good there. Now I'm a little worried. I mean, I can play Ajani on turn 4, but it's like kind of bad. I guess my opponent would have to have like a pretty good hand to actually kill me on turn 4. But, I mean, he's got the mana acceleration. But I can kill things with Fracturing Gust. So that's what I'm going to opt to do. And I think I'm going to like try to bait him into it. I doubt he actually has... No, he's not going to like... Ad Nauseam is a sorcery. So there's a chance my opponent just tries to cast Ad Nauseam. I guess not. Might be giving my opponent a free mana. Ooh. Paid off. Wow. So lucky. Pretty unreal. I would never guess that this is what I would be doing at 4 a.m. on a Wednesday night. Good old 3-for-1 Fracturing Gust. And now I think what I'm gonna do, it completely like shows that I have a negate, but don't really care. I mean, I do care, but I just want to play my Gideon, and I want to have my negate up. So like, I'm not exactly sure how my opponent could even kill me from here, but I mean, I do want to counter that. Keep those off the board. Now we're gonna get some good beatdowns. Oh wow! Here we even get to do something fancy. Hit for 7, and then blink the Gideon. And then we get another night token out of it. Now our opponent's just dead next turn. And we have a negate. Pretty unreal if you ask me. That Fracturing Gust was unbelievable. Echoing Truth on my Gideon. Well, sure. 3, 6, 10, 11. So I could play the Gideon and Emblem and have lethal, but I wouldn't have my Negate mana open anymore. So I want to keep my Negate mana open. Also would have been bad to just play Gideon there, Emblem, and not attack with the Noble Hierarch, just so I get to put my opponent to 1. What is this? Okay, sure. He's got like minimal draws to find something good, and then I'm just going to counter it. Alright, and we did it. Perfect. Alright, cool. Next game.